You are struggling to keep your head above water and a specific person appears to be your only lifeline. Yet somehow, you never actually reach the shore. It's this incredibly confusing feeling, isn't it? There's this one person who's always there, with a helping hand, alone, a place to stay when things get really tough. And at first, wow, what a relief. But as time goes on, you start to notice something unsettling. You're not actually getting closer to solid ground. You're just treading water, always needing them. And you start to wonder, why does the person who seems to be saving me also seem to be the very reason I can't stand on my own 2 feet?
Well, that's the central paradox we're going to unpack today. This dynamic that looks like a lifeline but feels like an anchor. It's often so subtle, we can't quite put our finger on why it feels so wrong. So today, we're going to investigate a powerful and often hidden system called need-based entrapment. And honestly, understanding this might just change how you see some of the key relationships in your life.
If you've ever been in a situation like this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's this heavy, complicated mix of gratitude and confusion. You feel thankful for the support. I mean, you should be, right? But underneath it all, there's this nagging sense of being trapped. You keep asking yourself this question: why does this lifeline feel so heavy? I'm here to tell you, you're not imagining it. That feeling is your intuition picking up on a very real psychological framework at play.
To get out of the trap, you first have to understand how it's built. So we're going to move from that feeling of being stuck to the theory of why you're stuck. And it all starts with something called manufactured dependency.
So what is manufactured dependency really? The most important thing to get is that this is not an accident. It's not a natural, healthy part of a relationship. It's a constructed situation where one person strategically makes themselves the only source for something you desperately need. It could be money, emotional validation, even opportunities at work. Think of those golden handcuffs in a corporate job. The pay is just good enough to keep you from leaving, but the job itself is a dead end. It's a classic tactic, and the goal is always the same: to make the provider seem absolutely irreplaceable.
Now, this whole dynamic works so well because it hijacks a basic part of our brain, the scarcity effect. When you're in crisis mode, worried about rent, food, or just feeling unsafe, your brain flips a survival switch. Your entire world narrows. All that brain power for long-term planning, for creative problem solving, it goes right out the window. All you can think about is surviving right now. And that makes you incredibly vulnerable to the first person who throws you what looks like a lifeline.
And here is the cold, hard logic of the whole thing. Just think about it for a second. If they actually solved your problem for good, if they really helped you get back on your feet, they wouldn't be necessary anymore, would they? Their power, their role as the savior, it would all just vanish. So the goal is never to end your struggle. The goal is to manage it, to keep your head just above water, so you'll always need them to stay afloat. So how exactly is this cycle kept going, sometimes for years? It's not just a bunch of random acts of kindness. No, it follows a very predictable, repeatable pattern that's built on a strategy we call metered aid. This process is almost clinical in how it works, and it happens in 4 clear stages. It all starts with step 1, the crisis. An urgent problem pops up, and the provider swoops in with the perfect solution. Bam! They earn a massive amount of your trust. But then, look at step 2, metered aid. The help is doled out in small doses, like an IV drip. Just enough to stop the immediate panic, but never enough to actually solve the root problem. And over time, this leads to step 3, efficacy erodes. Your own problem-solving skills are like muscles. If you don't use them, they get weaker. You stop trying to save yourself because you just wait for them. And of course, that leads to step 4, where the whole cycle repeats and the dependency gets even stronger.
And here's the really powerful part. The science that makes this cycle so hard to break. It's not just about willpower. Every time you're in a crisis, your body is flooded with stress hormones. It feels awful. When the provider offers that little bit of metered aid, your brain gets this huge immediate surge of dopamine, that chemical of relief. It feels like safety. So your brain learns a very simple lesson. Provider equals relief. It becomes a conditioned response, a biological loop. You're not just emotionally dependent anymore. Your brain's reward system has been literally rewired to seek them out, not a real solution.
Okay, so we get the what and the how. Now let's dive into the why. What's really motivating the person providing the help and the person who feels trapped by it? You can see this huge mismatch of interest right here. On one side, you have the provider. Their big incentive is what we call strategic retention. They need to keep you in the state of being functionally precarious. Not totally failing, but definitely not succeeding.
This often feeds a savior complex, this deep psychological need to be the hero. On the other side, you've got the recipient. Your vulnerability is rooted in pure survival biology. That scarcity effect makes your brain choose the immediate reward of relief over the long-term goal of freedom. And over time, as we said, your belief in your own abilities gets worn down, making you feel even more helpless.
Okay, understanding the trap is the first crucial step. But how do you actually get out? The good news is, awareness itself is the key that can unlock the cage. So let's shift gears from just diagnosing the problem to talking about a real, actionable strategy for reclaiming your power.
It all starts with something you can call a maintenance audit. It's a simple but incredibly powerful mental tool. From now on, every time you get help from this person, you have to ask yourself two critical questions. First, is this help moving me closer to real independence? Is it foundational? Is it empowering? Or second, is it just managing the current crisis? Is this just another temporary hit of panic relief that basically guarantees the problem will be back next month? Learning to tell the difference between these two types of help is everything.
And the answers from that audit are what will fuel the next phase, actively building your own independent competence. This means you have to start diversifying your support system so no single person holds all the keys. It means actively building your own skills, your own resources, even in tiny ways. And this part is so important. You have to mentally decouple the aid from any sense of emotional debt. You could be grateful for help you received in the past without being locked into a future of dependency. That help was an event, not a mortgage on your autonomy. This is how you start to take your power back.
So, as we wrap this up, let's distill all of this down to one core lesson, a final takeaway about what real, genuine help actually looks like.
This right here. This is the ultimate test. True generosity, real help, always works to make itself unnecessary. Think about it. A great teacher doesn't want their students to need them forever. They want them to learn, to grow, and to eventually surpass them. Genuine support is about empowering you so completely that you can stand on your own 2 feet. It's about building your power, not just managing your pain. So in the end, you just have to look at the pattern. Does the help you're getting solve the root cause, or does it just patch up the symptoms, guaranteeing the crisis will come back? Because if the help you receive is structured in a way that ensures you'll always need more of it, then you have to see it for what it is. It isn't a gift, it's a leash. And that brings us to the final thought I want to leave with you. Remember, need-based entrapment works by giving you just enough to stay dependent. That pattern of metered aid creates a biological relief loop that feels like salvation, even as it erodes your ability to save yourself. But awareness breaks that loop. Conducting your own maintenance audit and slowly building your own competence, that's the way out. Because a hand that only reaches out to keep you in the water is not a hand that is trying to save you.